In the quiet town of Meadow Creek, there was a school where every student seemed to have a shining talent. Except for one Leo. He was the student who was always last to finish a test. Last to be picked for a team, last to understand a joke. His report cards were a consistent landscape of red ink, and his seat was perpetually in the back corner of the classroom, a place that felt more like a shadow than a spot for learning. Teachers would sigh when they called his name, and classmates would offer a mix of pity and quiet ridicule. For Leo, school was a daily exercise in invisibility. He wasn't a troublemaker, he was just a slow. The world, it seemed, moved at a rhythm he couldn't quite catch. Years passed. The bright students of Meadow Creek School went on to prestigious universities and high-flying careers. They became doctors, lawyers, and engineers. Their success is celebrated in the local newspaper, and Leo? He disappeared from the town's collective memory, another forgotten name from a bygone school year. Most assumed he was working a dead-end job somewhere, living a life as unremarkable as his school days. They couldn't have been more wrong. 20 years after graduation, a groundbreaking tech conference was held in the city. The keynote speaker was a name no one from Meadow Creek recognized, Leo Vance, the founder of Innovate, a company that had revolutionized the way people learn. On stage, he was not the hesitant boy from the back of the class. He was confident, articulate, and passionate. He spoke of a world where learning wasn't a race, but a journey of personal discovery. He introduced educational tools that adapted to each user's pace. Tools that didn't penalize for being slow, but celebrated the courage to keep trying. The story of how Leo got there wasn't one of sudden genius. It was a story of quiet perseverance after leaving school with grades that closed more doors than they opened. Leo felt the crushing weight of being less than. He took on a series of menial jobs. From washing dishes to stocking shelves, in each role, he was diligent but unnoticed. The world saw him as he had always been seen, ordinary. But in the quiet hours after his shifts, a different Leo emerged. He had always been fascinated by how things worked. Not the abstract theories in textbooks, but the tangible mechanics of the world around him. He started taking apart old radios, broken clocks, and discarded computers. He wasn't trying to prove anything to anyone. He was simply following a spark of curiosity that had been long suppressed in the classroom. He enrolled in a night course at a local community college, not for a degree, but to learn. The pressure of grades was gone, replaced by the pure joy of understanding. He discovered a passion for coding, a world where logic and creativity intertwined. There was a language that finally made sense to him, a rhythm he could not only follow but create. He spent countless nights illuminated by the glow of his monitor, building small programs, websites for local businesses, and eventually, the first prototype of his adaptive learning software. He chose courage over the comfort of his quiet, predictable life. He saved every penny, not for a fancy car or a big house, but to fund his dream. He faced rejection from investors who saw only his poor academic record. But for every no, he found a new reason to say yes to himself. Back at the conference, as Leo concluded his speech, a slide appeared on the screen behind him. It was his old, red-marked report card. A murmur went through the audience. This, Leo said, his voice steady, was my beginning. It taught me that success isn't about being the first. It's about having the courage to finish, no matter how many times you find yourself in last place. In that moment, the boy who was always last finally showed the world that the race of life isn't a sprint, but a marathon of the heart.